you go anywhere from water clarity to which decoy to run to, I mean, everything.
Yeah, it's pretty technical. You know, that white ceramic coffee cup, or should you use a different color? Maybe some corn cobs.
I think you got lucky.
So just tell us when to roll.
Good. Are you guys good?
Ready. So sturgeon spearing started in our family probably almost a century ago. And it's been a pretty cool tradition for us all to share with one another each February when we come together. And it actually all started with my grandmother.
No, I think he's in that.
Lois's parents, the Pats, really got it going. So Grandma, how did it all start? How do you remember it?
Well, my parents bought my grandma and grandpa's farm, which was on the shores of Lake Winnebago head property. I don't know if my grandpa went sturgeon spearing much, but my dad did a lot of it. And they farmed too, so they didn't get out on the lake till probably 9:30, 10 in the morning. But in those days, there weren't that many fishermen, so they had good luck spearing sturgeon.
They'd sink lights down, you know, in the hole. Yeah, at nighttime, because they'd spear in the middle of the night.
Well, that, and they could even fish in their hole back in the day, which now you can't.
Well, yeah.
No.
Because guys would put hooks down and stuff.
Exactly.
And it was always 3 weeks long, and you fished all day if you wanted to.
Really?
Right, you get very tired sitting out there.
Because it wasn't exciting.
Gosh, went lots of years. When I was a teenager, I went quite a few times. I even went when Jean was a baby, which she was about 3 or 4, and took her doll out there. And I took the wagon so she could take a nap in it. And anyway, she dropped the doll in and my heart sank. I thought she fell in.
She turned to do something with the stove,
Yeah.
and then bloop. She thought, oh no! And then she got my doll out with a spear. And one year, Grandma Pat got a big one.
Yes.
I remember it was on the porch, and
My mom got it. It was a 92-pound sturgeon. That was huge in those days.
Well, that was way before. I mean, now the fish population is really prolific. I think there was almost like 60 sturgeon speared over 100 pounds this year. But back then, there weren't that many big ones, were there?
No, not that big, many big ones at all. Well, Glenn would go out and my mom would come and babysit, so I could go once in a while too. And then this one day when my mom and dad were out there, and Glenn and I and our youngest son Todd, and Glenn said, well, Todd and I will go and help your mom and dad move because there was quite a bit of snow, and you watch the hole till we get back. And we had quite a loud muffler on our car, and when he took off, it wasn't 5 minutes and that fish came kind of diagonal through the hole, and I threw the spear and was surprised that I hit it. And then when I saw how big it was 82 pounds. My knees were shaking, but I let it swim around in the hole till I collected myself. And then the handle didn't come off of the spear like it should have, so I just took a low hold of the handle and took the gaff hook and put it in the snorkel and dragged it on top of the floor and out the door.
What a woman.
And then,
I want to say it was 1972 because when you gave me that photo, we put it up in the shack. I think it was dated.
I
okay,
think it was 74.
74?
I think I was like 12 when she got that
A few
one.
years ago.
I learned from Grandpa and my uncles and all that, so did you. And the cool part was with Grandpa passing, he started us on it when I was a little older. I was probably 18 when I started, 17, 18. So I asked Grandma if I could rent the shack for the weekend, and she said, sure, you know, just take it. So my first spear was my grandpa's. It has his name engraved in it, and then this is John's first spear. So we got it there, cut the hole and everything, and shack was not in good shape. I mean, he built it, it was what, 42 years old?
quite old.
On wheels, so it seen better days. You
It
know.
was literally the final voyage for that thing. But,
Yeah.
we've come a long way, Logan, because we didn't grow up spearing. Dad likes to joke that he wastes all his patience at bow hunting, so we never had the itch to Sturgeon spear.
No, never.
But the funny part is too, he comes and sits with me every year, and he'll sit for an hour and I'll see a fish.
I think he secretly enjoys it.
He does,
But-
deep down.
I'll tell you, he got excited when I speared that one.
He's talked crap for too many years. Now he's got to stick to his story. But we started. Uncle Gary actually, Mom's brother, got us going the first couple of years and put out a shack for us and cut it in, and we started spearing with some of Grandma and Grandpa's original stuff, and we still use those spears and their original decoys, which is pretty cool to be able to use that. I know Gary told me that Grandpa built that drop-away shack in the 60s, and he actually, those thick window panes that he had,
Yep.
they were actually TV screens that he took the TV screen glass off and then installed it in the shack. And I mean, he was before his time, but he was always pretty handy that way.
Like you
So-
said, we've came a long way though.
Not much is original, we'll say,
Right.
but
The
It's fun.
memories still remain though.
it's pretty cool to have his original name from the shack door.
That shack I built the year after we speared that one, so it was 2018, 2019, and those are the first two fish out of it. So I broke it in this year.
Yeah.
But the cool part was mine was on camera. Well, then I didn't have my camera when Mom showed up, so I just ran the decoy high, and she actually saw hers coming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was amazing. I was looking down the hole and Dad was across from me, and I saw the silver line going, and I thought, is that a sturgeon, isn't it? And then Tim said, hey, I see one, and I thought, it's got to be. And I said, oh, I see it too. I'm going to just grab the spear and throw. So I threw it at that silver line, and he waited a minute and he goes, you didn't get it, did ya? And I went, actually, I can feel it on the end. And he went, no. And I said, well, call someone. And I said, call Logan. So then he called Logan, and then Logan came over.
Well, the funny part was I wasn't gone for 5 minutes, and I said, I gotta go run over by my buddy. I'll be back. And Mom's like, okay, sounds good. So I get over there. I just sat down and the phone rings. Dad's like, Mom's got one on. We got a mess.
Nice. Look at this pig. Look at that.
Got tangled in my line.
Oh, geez.
So,
Hey. Nice job, Switch. It's an exciting morning for the family.
Logan, I think when you and I started spearing probably a dozen years ago or so, I really honestly, I didn't know what it was about. I was more curious than anything else. So Grandpa had done it for a long time, and Gary and Todd had done it, and I know Mom went with Todd when he speared one on Poigen, and yeah, I mean, it was kind of ingrained into, lake living on Winnebago where you lived, but for us, Dad didn't have an interest in it, and we didn't grow up doing it. So when Gary offered to show us the ropes, I was curious, and I don't think I appreciated then what the spearing tradition was like I do now. Sturgeon spearing for me is all about the company that you keep in your shack. You're sitting long hours over a blank TV screen, as guys like to say, just waiting for a big fish to show up. But when you actually get the opportunity for a fish to come in, it's unbelievable, and it's 10 seconds of exhilarating, heart-pumping action. So fortunately, I have a good wife who tolerates it. We actually speared the family record on her birthday, February 17th, a few years back. So she's pretty tolerant of my passions and supportive in that way. So grateful to be able to share it with the family and carry the tradition on.